Hello, everybody. It's Zentrixidare. Yeah, that guy who never updates. I know. Whatever. I I don't really update because I don't always get to the news first, and I feel like if I repeat it, I'm just kind of not doing anything since my reach is so huge. Eh, Ignore me. I'm just being a bit cynical because I just woke up this morning to, well, now it's afternoon, to some major bigotry. 2 cases that I could see. I'm sure there's more out there if I keep looking. The first case, actually, is probably the smaller of the 2 cases. It's not getting as much publication or publicity in general. But it is still a case of bigotry, and I hate it. So, for everyone out there, that's what I'm going to give the first spot to, because I figure, hell, even with my small amount of reach, maybe I can do some good with this. So, I wake up to a Twitter comment by Airport. And for those of you not aware, Airport is an openly transgendered individual. Whatever your personal thoughts about transgendered individuals is on you and on all of us. But they should be given all the same equal opportunity rights as everybody else. I hope everybody here agrees with that. If you don't, then you're kind of a bigot too. Well, not even kind of, you're a fucking bigot. But Airport on Twitter today admitted something to the rest of us, and that is this. Lost my job last month. Head of HR apparently has a history of this. She once outed a trans guy to management who was later fired. Airport is a trans girl. And to any SJW who might stumble across my video somehow, don't say I'm outing a trans individual when Airport has repeatedly said that they themselves are trans in a public area. You can eat shit and die. But this right here is stupid. Absolutely fucking retarded. And I and a whole bunch of others actually gave her advice. And my advice is here. You know, as so many others have suggested, you almost definitely have grounds for a suit under EEOC. Lawyer up. You'll definitely find a lawyer willing to work it pro bono if there is some evidence and the business is well known. So, Airport can take this to court almost for certain, especially since the EEOC covers transgendered individuals. Anyway, especially if whomever she was working for is even moderately well known. I mean, it can't be. If she worked for, say, a McDonald's, McDonald's would shut this up at a heartbeat for millions of dollars. But even if it's not something like McDonald's, let's say it's something, only moderately well known. Let's say it's the Kroger Corporation, the people who run Kroger and Fred Meyer's. Not nearly as well known as, say, Walmart, but they're still moderately well known. Even Kroger Corporation would, as soon as she had a lawyer and was going, I was fired because I was a transgendered individual, and there's a history of this, and she found the other transgendered person who was fired, and they both got on the same docket. They could be co-defendants. And then I can guarantee Kroger Corporation would just be like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to settle out of court. We're going to give you each X million amounts of dollars. You shut the fuck up. And they go, okay. And they shut the fuck up and get a lot of money for it. I'm not saying that that'd be a good advancement for transgendered rights. And no, I'm not spouting transgendered rights like an SJW. I mean, the rights of people who happen to be transgendered, the rights that all people should have. But it would definitely improve Airport and this other person's status. It would definitely improve the way they interact with the world at this point. Because now she is probably having trouble making ends meet. Because she lost her day job, and all she does now is do reviews for one of the gaming sites that have popped up in the wave of Gaminggate, or Gamergate. Fuck my tongue. Stop running over yourself, mouth. Anyway, that was the first piece of bigotry I read today when I woke up. It was the first thing I saw on my phone. Immediately after that, I see stuff related to this. For those of you who don't know, Rachel Edwards is a member of the Honey Badger Radio podcast. And they had this Gamergate... Oh, goddamn stupid thing. This Gamergate... I guess that's a banner, poster. I don't know. My brain doesn't want to think words. Up that says Gamergate ethics stand against censorship. And yesterday, or today, or I don't know, it says day 2 of Calgary Expo. Yesterday, apparently, a whole bunch of butthurt people saw this and like, you're giving a home to harassment. It's a Gamergate booth. It's a Gamergate booth. First of all, the Honey Badgers are their own thing. They just support Gamergate. So saying that they are a Gamergate booth, while somewhat correct, it doesn't mean they're all of Gamergate. They are people who support Gamergate. Secondly, if a banner hurts your fucking feelings and makes you feel unsafe at a comic book exposition, go home, cover yourself in fucking bubble wrap, pad all your fucking windows, pad all your fucking walls, pad all your fucking doors, put yourself in a straitjacket, and live like they did in old asylums, because you clearly aren't mature enough to handle the real world. If this fucking shit causes you to go, oh my god, get them out, get them away from me, they make me feel so unsafe, then you need to leave public life. Go shut yourself up and become a fucking hermit. Because you're fucking stupid. And I'm going to keep saying that. You're fucking stupid. Censorship is bad. It stifles freedom of expression and the free market of ideas. It stifles creativity. It stifles critical thinking. And it's exactly what the ideologues, the SJWs, want, is to stifle thinking so that they get their way. So everybody agrees with them. Even if half the shit that they're trying to censor is something they don't actually give two fucks about. But in inclusion to this, there was apparently an article, on the Mary Sue, because we all love the Mary Sue, right, guys? SJW hive of villainy and scum that it is. I haven't read it yet, so you get to hear my blind reaction to this article. I already have the archive.today, so graciously given to me by a link provided in the Gamergate Ultras group on Facebook, which I happen to be a part of. And so let's read this and see what the Mary Sue has to say about honey badgers and Gamergate. Okay. Members of Gamergate What? the title. Okay, the title alone has me laughing pretty bad. Members of Gamergate planned to infiltrate Calgary Expo to actively disrupt panels. Calgary Expo has evicted them. So here we have confirmation that Calgary Expo kicked out the honey badgers. So that's fucking bullshit. By Jill Pantazzi. What else has Jill Pantazzi written on the Mary Sue? Oh, please don't. No, I wanted this to be another archive.today. Fuck. Oh! Editor-in-Chief. Gamergate infiltration. Stuff that, is... Oh, it's a celebrity reaction to the Force Awakens trailers. Says there's been a solo film discussion. Oh, boy. sequel to Blade Runner, Arrow, Broken Arrow. Okay. I'm sure that if I go into here's another one. I'm sure if I go into some of these, feminism will be or SJWs or anything will be mentioned. But here, feminism ain't easy. That time Joss Whedon used our tweet to call a Jurassic World clip sexist. Oh boy. Oh boy. Fun. Okay. Well, so as you can see, Miss Pentozzi or Pentozzi or however you pronounce that last name, probably has some deep ideological ties, especially considering this article. So, oh, yes, you're so clever, so fucking clever. No country for hashtag not all men. Yes, you're so clever. So clever. So clever. So fucking clever. Pardon me for a second while I head desk off screen. Anyway. You know, for a loosely defined group who's constantly claiming they don't have nefarious purposes, they sure do like casting themselves as the villain. How are we casting ourselves as the villain? We don't cast ourselves as the villain. You cast us as the villain, Miss Pentozzi. You and your ilk, the ideologues who disagree with us. You have to cast us as the villains. Because otherwise, your narrative falls apart. Also, for a loosely defined group who claimed to rail against those with an agenda, they sure do have a clear agenda. No. Now you're misinterpreting our words. It's not that we claimed to rail against those with an agenda. We claimed to rail against those with bias, ideological bias, unethical practices, corruption, collusion. These are the things that Gamergate as a whole fights, though each person you ask will be in for a different reason. I'm personally in to fight the ideological bias because I see it as the root of all the other problems. You get rid of the bias, the problems go away. At least as we clear up everything, like mopping up after a war. Taking place this weekend, Calgary Expo, who the Mary Sue joined forces with for a cosplay contest this year. Oh, wow, was that an attempt at disclosure? Or was that just them gloating? I don't know. Has a stance on harassment and bullying from their FAQ. The Comic and Entertainment Expo Committee does not tolerate harassment of any type at any of its events. Harassment can take many forms. It may be, but is not limited to, words, signs, offensive jokes, cartoons, pictures, posters, email jokes or statements, pranks, intimidation, physical assault or contact or violence. So, by this definition, and probably by the reason that the Honey Badgers got kicked out, the banner with Gamergate on it is a sign or cartoon, picture, poster, or statement that is intimidation or is paramount to actual harassment rather than espousing a viewpoint they don't like. They also have a campaign going called hashtag Expo Equality in cooperation with the Calgary Communities Against Sexual Abuse. At Calgary Expo, we believe in equality for all, cosplayer and non-cosplayer alike. Retweet and help spread the hashtag Expo Equality. Okay. We don't disbelieve in equality for people either. You know, we're not big bad people who are trying to segregate everybody. I can think of one group who's trying to segregate everybody. Oh wait, they don't call it segregation. They call it diversity when these people are included, but it's cultural appropriation if you try to incorporate their their ideas from their cultures and ethnicities. That's still fucking segregation. It's still segregating people. Making it sound nice does not make it any less fucking segregation. Fuck. So, the convention also has large signs indicating that neither verbal nor physical harassment will be tolerated, in addition to the hashtag Expo Equality and Cosplay is Not Consent signage. Unfortunately, none of that prevented this from happening. And there's a link to this. This is fucked up. The same thing. You know, they have pictures of a Facebook conversation, it looks like. And then the same picture we saw over on Rachel's Twitter. Fun. A Gamergate-affiliated group known as Honey Badger Radio procured a booth for Calgary Expo through a crowdfunding campaign specifically geared toward gaining attendance under false pretenses. No. 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 There were no false pretenses. No. Jesus fucking Christ. You know? Everybody. Oh, God fucking damn it. The people representing them are Karen Strawn. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I probably didn't. Mike Stevenson. He's pretty cool. I'm actually subscribed to the doctor. Allison Tiemann and Sage Gerard. I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. I probably am not. And, you know, I apologize in advance. And of their campaign, they wrote, in April of this year, the Honey Badgers plan to put on a booth at the Calgary Comics Entertainment Expo. We plan to infiltrate nerd culture cunningly disguised as their own. Each of us has been carefully crafting a persona of nerdiness through decades of dedication to comics, science fiction, fantasy, comedy, games, and other geekery, waiting for this moment, our moment to slip among the unaware. Once there, we will start distributing the totalitarian message that nerd and gamer culture is perfectly wonderful, just as it is, and should be left alone to go its own way. Okay, they say that this is false pretenses. They are taking this literally, when it is clear, tongue-in-cheek, sort of satirical. You know, crafting a persona of nerdiness through decades of dedication to nerdy things. It's not a persona of nerdiness at that point. These people, they don't know how to fucking read. Reading comprehension. You have none. Learn to comprehend, ideologues. Fuck. And yes, nerd and gamer culture is perfectly wonderful just as it is and should be left alone to go its own way. That's it, folks. As men's issues advocates and defenders of creators' rights to create unmolested, that's what we have to say to the nerds and geeks and gamers. You are fantastic as you are. Carry on. Yep, in today's political climate, that's considered an extremist position. Just letting creative communities create, consumers consume what they want, and gamers get down to the business of vidya without being judged. So if you share our vision of a world in which nerds and geeks and gamers roam free and unfettered, help us spread that message by throwing a few shekels our way to attend the con. Okay, so yes, equality and nobody fucking with our pastimes. That's what they want. That's what they say. And it isn't a false pretense. This is what they were going to try and spread. However, Honey Badger Radio did not use their website to apply for vendor exhibitor status. The Honey Badger Brigade on the Calgary Expo website links to a webcomic site run by Honey Badger Teeman instead. If you didn't think all of this was enough to warrant expulsion from the convention, it is. There's more. Their show is broadcast by A Voice for Men, one of the biggest men's rights websites on the internet. Okay? What does that fucking matter? Also, putting it under the Honey Badger Brigade probably means Teeman was the one to purchase everything. Nobody. Okay, so their show can be broadcast by Voice for Men. It's also broadcast on YouTube. Are you going to start castigating YouTube? Start castigating YouTube. Start castigating every place that has the Honey Badger Radio, because you're fucking retards. Less specific plans for Calgary Expo were also detailed on that group's site, which is classified as a woman-hating site by the Southern Poverty Law Center, and said in part, the Honey Badgers are a diverse group of female gender apostates, women who oppose outdated ideas of gender, particularly the association of womanhood with weakness. We offer an alternative to the damaging portrayal of women as victims of geek and gamer culture. So, So the voice for a voice for men is apparently woman hating, and I'm sure there's probably authors on there who are, but there's a lot of advocacy for men's rights on there. There's a lot of advocacy for humans' rights back on Dr. Randomer who I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna put, I'm gonna put the link to his page, his YouTube in my description, simply because he's awesome. He can lead you to the rest of the honey badgers. I'm not as well associated with them as he is. And besides, I want to give him the views to give them the views. Chain of command, whatever you want to call it. Chain of awesome. I'm going to call it Chain of Awesome. You can all go see Doc Randomer, and then the doc will give you some good medicine in the form of the Honey Badger Radio. We're not done just yet. The group also attended the Women into Comics panel last night. Panelist Brittany LeBlanc gave us this account of the events that transpired. We were about 15 minutes into the panel when a woman in the second row stood up and identified herself as a men's rights activist. She and her male companion both came to raise issues they felt would not be covered by our panel. Raising points about the way that men are portrayed in comics struck a note with all the panelists, as we agreed that we want to see a diversity across body types, characters, races, etc. in mainstream comics. Not everyone wants to see a hero who looks like he's built like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. They also accused us of presenting all women as victims, which was an outright lie and derailing tactic. Their questions did take up a lot of time at the panel and served to derail the topic onto another tangent, which was frustrating for the panel and for those in the audience. It's what they came to do, and in part they succeeded. How do you know that they came to that fucking panel to disrupt it? They wanted to raise issues that you weren't going to raise because you're a fucking ideologue, you piece of shit. I would say that it brought up some great discussions, though, allowing us to talk about the lack of representation for people of color in comics. Okay, forced diversity is bad. It causes lazy writing, bad writing. If a person writes a good character, it's a good character, no matter their skin tone, gender, fucking sexual orientation, class, anything. If the character is good, what their intangible qualities and, frankly, uncontrollable qualities is irrelevant. And to give well-deserved props to artists like Sophie Campbell, who has done an amazing job in showcasing a broad range of bodies with her art and Gem in the Holograms. It's disappointing they weren't there to have a conversation or to listen to what we, the members of the audience, were saying. They wanted to stand up and have their say, but not to listen to or try to understand the points of view of other people in the room had. I could create an outdoor theater with all this fucking projection! Has anybody ever wanted to go to a drive-in theater? Here, ask these people. They probably have projectors big enough to do the job these days. This was further proven by the video discussion they posted last night, in which they mentioned our panel and that we were donning the ball gowns of our victimhood, which I'm not even entirely sure how to take. It means you're playing the victim to rake in sympathy and possibly money. You're draping yourself in victimhood so that you can be noticed, so that you garner sympathy and you don't have to fucking work on merit, you piece of fucking shit. I'll admit to not watching the whole video, and I think anyone who attempts to watch it would understand why. Well, let me see that video for a second. What is this video? Oh, it's Honey Badger Radio. Okay, never mind. You guys go all watch that. Honey Badger Radio 1 live from Calgary. Go watch it. I truly believe in freedom of speech, but coming to a panel with the entire purpose of derailing it and shooting down the voices on that panel isn't constructive. Well, you obviously don't believe in freedom of speech, because if you did, you wouldn't be trying to discredit the people who wanted an actual dialogue. You piece of fucking shit. No. That's an insult to shit. Because at least shit was something before it became shit. You started as refuse. You never had value. I don't actually know that. I'm just venting at this point because you're fucking ignorant. You're a fucking stupid person. Oh my god. It appears that was their plan for the expo, to come and to loudly take over the spaces of other people, although it was not violent or threatening. It's disrespectful, disappointing, and offers a prime example of why these panels need to exist in the first place. No, 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 no. You can't use that circular logic. You know, that's like, what was Anita's fucking tweet about people making fun of feminism? It proves that feminism still needs to exist, or what the fuck ever. No! The fact that this happened does not justify the existence of panels on forced diversity. It doesn't justify the existence of your retardation. Go back to the kiddie corner. Stop trying to be an adult. You clearly have no idea how to be an adult. Now, if you're wondering if Calgary Expo had any rules against this kind of thing besides their extensive anti-harassment policy, here's a bit from their exhibitor package. The exhibitor agrees to protect, keep, and save the CCEE, the promoter of the event, forever harmless from any damages or charges imposed for violations of any ordinance or regulation by the exhibitor, his, her, employees, or agents, as well as failure to comply with the terms and agreements of this contract. Further, exhibitors shall at all times protect, indemnify, save, and keep harmless CCEE against and from any loss, cost, damage, liability, or expense which arises out of or from or by any reason or of any act or omission of the exhibitor, his, her employees, or agents. Basically, you're legally obligated to support us and protect us, even if you disagree with our methods and find us detestable. The CCEE shall have the full power in the interpretation and enforcement of all contract regulations contained herein, and to the power to make such amendments thereto, and such further rules and regulations as shall be considered necessary and proper. Basically, we have the power to change the rules on you after you've signed something legally binding, and you can do nothing about it. Which is illegal, by the way. At least it is in the US. I don't know about fucking Canada. I know nothing about Canada. Or, well, I know very few things about Canada and nothing about Canadian law. That's the big thing. I should play a law. There we go. I can't do. I don't have the video editing skills to edit in the clip from Judge Dredd there, but I think I did a good imitation. I don't know. On a tangent. It goes on to say further. And the Comic and Entertainment Expo Committee reserves the right to remove any person/people who does not comply with the rules and regulations outlined in the exhibitor agreement and the policies and procedures outlined on the website. No refund shall be given to exhibitors who are removed from the show. And yes, Calgary Expo kicked them out this afternoon. It's very clear from the evidence out there right now, anti-censorship was not their agenda. Yes! Yes, it fucking was! By opening up topics you weren't going to fucking cover, they are uncensoring them. Searching the Gamergate tag on any given day will tell you the same. Also bullshit! Also bullshit! If that were true, the Gamergate tag wouldn't be running 8 fucking months with over 1 million unique hits. I don't know. I don't actually know how many unique hits we have at this point. I'm just going to say 1 million for exaggeration and hyperbole's sake because it sounds good. But don't take that as fact, people. That's why this disclaimer is here. We've reached out to the Calgary Expo, and we'll update this post when they give a statement. So there you have it. So these fucking fucks have censored the shit out of Honey Badger Radio. You know what I have to say? Hooray, SJWs, fighting the good fucking fight. Segregating people one fucking demographic at a time. First, it's going to be the straight white men. Then it's going to be the straight white women. Then it's going to be the people of color, as they call them. Then it's going to be the non-heterosexual, the people who don't fit the gender binary, or whatever. I don't fucking know. Somebody else tell me Tumblr speech. What the fuck does that mean? Then the transgendered individuals. And then they're going to have to cannibalize themselves. This reminds me of that quote falsely attributed to whom I don't remember. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, for I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one to speak for me. I forget who that's falsely attributed to, and I'm paraphrasing it, obviously. But the point remains. First they came for men, and nobody spoke out because they were not men, specifically white men. Then they came for white women, and I did not speak out because I was not a white woman. Then they came for the minorities. I'm just going to group them all together, which is bound to piss off some SJWs, but that includes the people of color, the non-gender binary, and the transgendered individuals. And then they came for me, being the SJWs themselves, and there was no one to speak for me. That's what ideology will do. Ideology will destroy you. Ideology will destroy the freedoms people enjoy. It kills rational thought. It kills critical thinking. So, here's been your bigotry report for the day. Again, I'm Xanatrix Adare. I'm signing off. Remember, you don't only seek the truth seeks you.